Week 15, and it finally happened. The Bucs finally fell apart. Todd Bowles has to be fired after throwing his entire team under the bus, and they're probably going to miss the playoffs, and it's probably the best thing for them. Twitter last night couldn't stop complaining about how Baker Mayfield should have scored 45 points and only scored 28 against a pretty damn good Falcons defense. That's a little bit ludicrous to me. Did he throw a pick? Yes. Was it bad? Absolutely. And did it effectively cost the Buccaneers the game? Maybe. And he also missed that throw to Igbuka on 2nd and 15. But if you're going to blame this game on Baker Mayfield, you got your priorities all out of whack. This is a game where the defense could not get a stop without turnovers, despite the fact that the Falcons kept shooting themselves in the foot and fumbling. Falcons fumbled, 4 times, and the Buccaneers only got one of them? That was really, really bad. Let's also not forget that the Buccaneers fumbled twice on their own and got lucky. Overall, I gave Baker Mayfield a B for this performance, because it was a really high degree of difficulty. Between the constant pressure, the majority of which came from the interior, which is extra hard to escape, and the defense just absolutely selling, Baker Mayfield was kind of a bright spot. Mike Evans was certainly the best player of the game, but Baker was good, and I don't understand saying otherwise. I know that we all have the attention span of a hamster, so we really only remember the crucial plays on the final drive or two. But the reason that the Buccaneers ever had a lead in this game, the reason this game was even close, is largely because Baker Mayfield balled out for the first 3 quarters and a half. Yes, he missed that throw to Igbuka, and yes, he threw that pick, but they were up, 9 when he threw that pick? They were up 3 when he missed that throw to Igbuka? The Buccaneers had 3rd and 28 and 4th and 14 on the next drive and couldn't get a stop? It certainly wasn't on Mayfield. Frankly, if Mayfield avoids that pick, this is an A game. If Mayfield hits that strike to Igbuka, it's an A- game. And if you need your quarterback to have an A- or A game in order to barely beat the lowly Falcons and Kirk Cousins in 2025, your team is really screwed for a lot of reasons other than the quarterback. Again, I know we only want to focus on those 2 plays at the end, but there were 37 dropbacks. Those 2 plays didn't make that much of a difference. Just like the 2 absolute dimes that Baker Mayfield threw to score the 2nd touchdown of the game didn't make all the difference. 2 plays are just 2 plays. That's why we break down all the film. So with that, let's get to that film. Let's break down every single dropback. First snap, play action. Look at Graham Barton, number 62, the center. This is your 2nd-year center, 1st-round pick. He's supposed to be the anchor of your line, and he's getting dominated. This will be a common theme throughout the game. Not necessarily Graham Barton, but the entire interior offensive line is just getting beaten. You'll see it better here. And this is a plus move with a routine throw. It's a nice job to evade the pressure, but Graham Barton might not as well have been there. By the time that they finish the play action fake, Graham Barton's already in Baker Mayfield's lap. That's disgusting. And the real issue is that, if he had held up just a little bit, you've got Emeka Egbuka downfield. Emeka Egbuka probably gets a huge gain here, and if he doesn't, Mike Evans does. There are 2 deep routes that are both coming wide open, and the Bucs can't hit them because they can't hold up for even 2 seconds. That's egregiously bad protection. And yeah, we'll see that all night. Next dropback. This is tough because, I grade batted balls as bad. And yesterday I was doing a live space. I was kind of commentating and live grading the game. And, some people were saying oh, it's not really fair to grade a batted ball as bad. But I think it often is. It usually is. Now, occasionally there's a dude in your face, pause, and there's nothing you can do. Ball's just going to get batted. But on this play, Baker Mayfield's 6 foot tall. He can't change it. There's nothing he can do about it. But also it's part of who he is and what he can do. If he's 6'5", this ball probably doesn't get batted. Right? And if the right guard stabs the rusher in the stomach like he's supposed to, the ball probably doesn't get batted. But ball gets batted. And it's largely because Baker Mayfield's short. Again, that's not the craziest throwing lane. There's plenty of room to put the ball to the right, to the left, over the top. It's fine. That's fine. That's a Baker Mayfield problem. So we grade those batted balls. He had 3 in this game. We grade those as bad. Or no, 2. This one, I don't know how to grade. This is really tough. And this is a problem we've been seeing for months now. Emeka Ibuka just can't run the right route. Right? Like here it looks like he's on a choice route where he's either running a return or a dig. Clearly he chooses dig, and clearly Baker thinks he's running a return. Just a little button hook. I guess alternatively, it could have been a dramatic underthrow to Mike Evans, but I don't think that's realistic at all. I think what's much more realistic is it was just supposed to be a curl, and Ibuka turned it. Like, look at right here. Assuming this is a curl when Baker lets it go, right? Because that's, as he's letting it go, is where Ibuka is supposed to be curling. That ball ends up right over top of where Ibuka was. So Baker thinks it's a curl, Ibuka thinks it's a dig. I don't know who's right necessarily. It could be either, right? Like I see what Ibuka's thinking is like I've got all this space to the middle of the field. I should fill that void. I should take the space given. But he can't just have constant miscommunication. Doesn't help that Rachaad White, like usually a great pass blocker, right? Like pass protection is kind of Rachaad White's thing. It's why he's still like a near starting level back. But he gets confused. He's standing here looking for work and not finding that the defensive back on the right is lightning blitzing. So if Rachaad White picks him up, Baker probably has another second to think, and he and Ibuka are able to get on the same page, and everything's much more copacetic. But because Baker's hot, and because he and Ibuka just can't figure shit out, one of them understands the play wrong, and it ends up in a bad throw. And I genuinely don't know which one. I assume it's the rookie receiver, not the veteran quarterback, but I don't know. Here on this ball, it looks really bad, but again, it's just either I don't remember if it's batted or if his arm gets hit as he throws. Yeah, so he slides in the pocket. It's a plus pocket movement, and yeah, it's Graham Barton once again, just getting dominated. Got James Pierce looping from the edge all the way up to the A gap, and yeah, he immediately shoves Graham Barton all the way back. Look at this. Graham Barton might as well have not been there. He literally could have been a safety, a running back. It doesn't matter. He couldn't have played any worse on that particular rep. Literally. So it's a bad ball. It's a plus pocket movement because Baker at least got the fucking ball off. But he's working with dog shit here. Once again, interior pressure. Left guard gets walked back immediately. Baker scrambles and he can't do anything. I say this is a bad run. Let's see what he should have done. Let's diagram the play, shall we? All right, now I recall this play. So Jalen McMillan is kind of going to run like a whip, and Chris Godwin's going to run like a slant post behind him, like kind of a vertical slant. And then I think Mike Evans is just running a streak. The issue is that this corner jams Chris Godwin so well that he actually jams Jalen McMillan as well. So when you watch this play, like it's supposed to be the way it's supposed to look. This corner is supposed to run this way with Godwin. This corner is supposed to get the hell out of the way with Evans. This linebacker is supposed to get depth with Evans. And then you just have Jalen McMillan running wide open against this linebacker, and it's easy pickings with plenty of yak, right? But the problem is, delete all that. Right, Godwin gets jammed so hard that it throws off Jalen McMillan's route. By the time Jalen McMillan gets out into his route, the defense has kind of picked up what's going on, and the play no longer works. So now Baker's sitting here in a quickly collapsing pocket because his right or his left guard is trash. And Mike Evans at the top of the screen is being hugged, but he's also hugging a guy. It's very dumb. If Mike Evans would have just run, he probably has a big play opportunity, but alas. So Baker extends the play. It's a plus pocket movement. And he gets sacked, and it's a no-fault sack. But the penalty on the illegal contact against AJ Terrell at the top of the screen mitigates all of it. So we don't grade it. Here, one of the very few times Baker is kept clean, if only because the route is so quick developing. And by the way, like Caden Ellis, linebacker, he gets right through. Bucky Irving has to make a nice adjustment to get a block on him just to save Baker like a split second so he can get this ball out. It's a nice, 10-yard out to Evans. Ball's well enough placed. Solid throw. This one, I don't really know what Baker's thinking, frankly. Like, okay, you got a very deep concept, but it's first down. So the check down to Bucky Irving is plenty good. You got a nice clean pocket here. Like, yeah, I think that's Pierce. It's only a 3-man rush. Whoever's rushing from the top of the screen runs around the hoop, so you got time. You can also bail out to the right. Oh no, it's a 4-man rush. Just the right guard, the backup right guard is Dan Feeney eating the defensive tackle. That's good. So yeah, Baker should be hitting the check down to Bucky Irvin, or I don't know who that is at the top of the screen, but there's a curl. It's probably, I guess it's probably Jalen McMillan. Either way, I don't understand throwing this post. Now, it's so poorly thrown that maybe, just maybe, Baker thought that Igbuka was going to turn this into a corner, but I don't agree with that either, really. Let's watch the tight copy and then I'll diagram it. But yeah, so pretty good protection. In fact, plenty good protection. And Bucky Irving wide open on the check down. That needs to be the play. Yeah. I mean, Baker just straight up did not throw a post. He threw a streak. And I don't know why he threw a streak into double coverage. I don't understand that play whatsoever. It might have just been like a creative way to throw the ball away, but let's diagram it. So as you can see, it's a very deep concept. And the idea is you're attacking all levels and you're pulling the entire defense to the right. So if, God forbid, you need to throw your check down, you have a lot of space on the left. It's a really well-designed play. I love this play. This is honest football. Like, you need a good quarterback to execute this play because 4 of the throws are pretty difficult and one of them is super easy, but hopefully you get one of the 4. Pre-snap, knowing that this is your play, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, all right, they're in absolute base, nickel defense. Like, it couldn't be any more base. I'm looking for cover 4 or cover 2. If it's cover 2, the post to Igbuka should be open. If it's cover 4, the post to Igbuka is probably not open. Just because, like, yes, open field or middle field open, you would think, yeah, throw that post, but because of the area of the field, it's just so condensed that, like, you're gonna be throwing into double coverage if this is cover 4, right? Like right here, why try to fit it in 40 yards downfield into a tiny void like that? Now, if it was like cover 2, then yeah, you've got a nice big gap to try to fit that in. Like that's the ticket. But you got to know. If it's cover 2, again, like this quick out is supposed to beat cover 2. You're supposed to wrap directly around the flat defender and it's supposed to be perfect. And if it's cover 4, then, maybe you take a lot of time and Godwin is cutting across zones or even your corner to the tight end, right? Like if it's cover 4, this is basically man coverage and this guy's kind of in the middle of the field. So you fill this big void to the top of the screen. Really well designed play. Again, everything downfield is like a difficult throw, but I love it. You got a good look against it. And the reality is they're going to end up running cover 4. So the post is not the move. This is what the cover 4 looks like. So like you can see where the ball should be going based on this diagram, right? You can see the quick out is going to avoid. So Jalen McMillan is the move. Because Jalen McMillan is going to preoccupy this defender and vacate this zone, this will be open. So Payne Durham is the move. You should be looking at the top of the screen here. So McMillan and Durham, both viable options, good options even. If you have lots and lots of time, you can see Chris Godwin's going to cross two different zones. So when he's in this gap and when he's in that gap, that's when you got a chance to hit him. That takes a really long time to develop. It's kind of like a last resort, like, shit, nothing else worked and I'm late in the down. Oh, I can throw it here. The only route that really doesn't work is Emeka Ibuka. Like, there's just no space, right? He's going to break at the top of his route. Like, that's where he actually makes his cut to get open. And within 2 steps, he's going to be in the zone of the safety, the quarter field safety. So, like, that doesn't work at all. Finally, because you're pulling everything this way, everything's going so vertical, you're going to have a ton of room underneath to hit your running back. And he's only got one guy to beat, right? Because this corner is going to be running that way with Ibuka. This linebacker can't get there. So in order of, this isn't how you would read it, but in order of who is most viable, I would go McMillan 1, Payne Durham 2, Bucky Irving 3. And in terms of reading it, now I suspect that this is a pure progression just because it's a very simple, old-fashioned play. I would imagine that he's starting down here at the left and working his way up, at least against half field coverage. Or not half, middle field open. That's a mistake. It's a bad read, and it leads to a totally anachronistic play. I don't like it. It's bad throw, something's amiss. I know Baker's very, very injured. I know that his offensive line is bad, but his protection held up here, and you should still be able to make good decisions when your oblique is torn, because that's what's going on. Watch it again. Baker never really looks to the top of the screen. He's kind of staring down Ibuka the entire time. And that's bad. Because as we noted, McMillan's going to be wide open, right? You had your corner and you're out. And this defender chose, I'm not going to cover this out. I don't care about it. I'm going to get deep and cover that tight end, which means, yeah, you just have an uncovered wide receiver at the sticks. You got to hit that. But Baker never looks to the top of the screen. Next play, and this is going to be a bad run. I don't know why Baker's trying to run around. I don't know what he's doing. Let's see what he should have hit. Right? It's second down, so everything's on the table. And right off the bat, I'm thinking, hit that check down. Nobody's open, right? Like, nobody wins their route. And that's fine, because you have good protection. Check the ball down. Try to get third and short. Let's watch it from the start again. Like, yeah, hit Rachaad White. He's going to get 5-10 yards. Instead, Baker pulls it down. He's not seeing shit quick enough. That's not very good. Right? He really, really wants McMillan on this post, but it's just never going to work. Because, like, the way Baker's seeing it is, I have one-on-one coverage. I have McMillan, my best man separator, in one-on-one coverage against a bad corner. So he's, like, waiting, like, when am I going to get that deep shot? But it never comes open. He should have checked this ball down, even late, even, like, right here. It's still not too late to throw this ball to your running back. You've lost a lot of yardage that you would have otherwise gained. Like, if you flip it out to him right here, he's gone. Gone. But Baker's looking for that big gain. And that's unfortunate. You know, if you're not going to check it down, yeah, there's nobody open. But it's frustrating. I see what he wanted. I see what he thought he had and what he wanted. And by the time he came off of it, it was too late. That's not a problem of protection. That's a problem of greed. It's a bad sack. That's a sack you blame on Mayfield. This play makes up for it. 3rd and 15, I believe. Straight drop back. Great anticipation. Dime. That's a great throw. So on that set of downs, First down, I don't understand, right? Second down, bad sack. Should have checked it down to Rachaad White. 3rd and 15, Baker absolutely redeems himself. Strike and a half. Lovely throw. The next play, another great ball. Absolute strike on this sail route. Jalen McMillan is running across field. Baker Mayfield stops him by putting the ball on his back shoulder to keep him inside of those two safeties, and it nails him in the ear. It's perfect. It allows him to turn around and protect himself and reach across the goal line. Now, he doesn't quite. It's called a touchdown on the field. It gets called back and turned into a non-touchdown. But, like, if he leads McMillan's getting depleted and not catching the ball. It needs to be exactly where it is. So Baker does a good job. He goes through two reads probably, and then returns to his first one. He holds the safety with his eyes by checking out, and boom. Ball's perfect. I know, like, oh, he didn't lead him. It's behind him. It's supposed to be. He's sitting him down because there's a ton of room between those safeties, but once you cross that safety, you're fucked. So honestly, McMillan should have throttled a little bit more to catch this ball, more in line with his body so he could just kind of fall down into the end zone. Instead, he takes a hit, and, I guess that's not a touchdown. So on the next play, the Buccaneers try to give Baker a chance to get his stat back, and he throws a fine goal line fade. Problem with goal line fades is it's almost impossible to tell if it's a good throw or a bad throw because it's just a guess. You're just floating the ball up there to a generally viable position and hoping that your receiver can make a play. In this particular case, Mike Evans can't make a play, but it was a catchable ball. So I grade it routine. And then they score on the next play. No touchdown pass for Baker, so all the box score stat heads are very upset, but great drive. Had a couple of clunkers in there, but he absolutely redeemed himself. Now, there was a flag for illegal contact on this play, but again, watch the interior line. The entire thing gets caved in immediately. Your left guard and your center are double teaming a defensive tackle, and he's still pushing both offensive linemen back into Baker Mayfield's lap. Luke Goedeke, who's your second best offensive lineman, he's getting blown past all game by James Pierce. Getting dominated. Not good. So Baker has to step up and through, and your right guard is also getting his ass beat by a defensive tackle, so Baker can't do anything. And what is Baker supposed to do, right? Here's the top of his drop. Who's open? Nobody. The play hasn't developed. By the time he steps up, one of his receivers, Godwin, is falling down. His running back is viable, but you can't be looking at your running back right away at the top of your drop. You got to give him at least a half of a second to get to the running back to move through the progressions because otherwise you're missing your receivers downfield. So there it is, looking downfield. Oh shit, one of my guys tumbled, the other one's not open at all, and now I'm being tackled. So I got to break out. It's no fault sack. It's a good plus pocket movement. Watch the entire interior offensive line get bitched right here. Watch Luke Goedeke get bitched right here. Oh, it's not Luke Goedeke. It's fucking Payne Durham. Well, that's the issue. I apologize, Luke Goedeke. It's not your fault. It was 87, not 67. So yeah, they go extra offensive lineman here, and then 77, the extra offensive lineman they brought in, doesn't do anything. He just kind of stands there looking for things to do. Charlie Heck. This was the Buccaneers' starting right tackle for half the year, by the way. Completely and totally useless. Barely exists. And so Payne Durham is one-on-one with a legitimate edge rusher, and he's fucked. And the right tackle, I guess, and the right guard are double-teaming a defensive tackle who's bitching him. So this isn't a Graham Barton play. Graham Barton actually won this rep for once. The issue is Charlie Heck didn't do anything. When he started to do anything, he got bitched right here. This is Charlie Heck completely turned around face-to-face with a defensive lineman who's tackling his quarterback. Absolutely terrible protection, through and through. Nothing Baker can do there. Now, I'm pretty sure it got obviated for a penalty, but the song remains the same. Top of his drop. What's he supposed to do? Absolutely nobody's open. Baker pump fake, steps up and through. Now he's out of the pocket. You've got Devin Culp, your third string tight end, and he is wide open downfield. And if from the 30-yard line you can land this ball at the opposite 20 or 25, so a nice 50-yard floater, you probably have a touchdown. But that's a really hard throw to make, especially when you have a torn left oblique, a sprained left shoulder, and a sprained right knee. That's a fucking hard throw to make when you're healthy, much less when you're really fucked up. So we give Baker the plus pocket movement for breaking out of this pocket, and then here he's like, oh, well, I can't hit Culp because I just don't have that in me right now. And very few would, except maybe Josh Allen. But I'll hit Mike Evans on this improvised out and up. The problem is, Mike Evans maybe gets held. Right? Like, Mike Evans is furious after this play, saying, like, oh, that's a hold. And you can kind of see it. Mike Evans loses about 2 or 3 steps there because either he's being held or he's trying to sell the holding right here. Right here. You see that? How he like kind of backpedals and he loses his towel because he's getting held. If he's not held, that might be catchable, right? That ball passes through his trajectory at like the 38-yard line. And he's currently at the 41. Do I think that 6'5" Mike Evans could get, another 3 yards on 2 strides? I do. I think that ball's absolutely within the realm of possibility. I would like to see Baker put more air on it, put more arc on it, give his receiver a wider margin for error. But we live in a fallen world. Once again, let's check this protection. Luka Decky getting walked all the way right back into the quarterback yet again. Graham Barton's not actually blocking anyone. Baker does a really great job of breaking out of the pocket. And again, there's really no one to hit at this point. Also, whoever 65 is, he's like all the way downfield already, so that's a penalty. Right, like the right tackle, or right guard rather, Dan Feeney, he just starts sprinting like he's in a route. I guess he thought Baker was trying to run the ball on 3rd and long. That's dumb. That's fucking really dumb for so many reasons. So it's a bad ball. It's a bad deep attempt. It's a nice pocket movement. Absolutely not like an indictment of Baker. Here, once again, there's not much he can do. He could try to throw this out to Evans at the top of the screen, but Evans slips and falls. Right? Look at the top of the screen. Step 2, he just kind of tumbles. So if you're Baker, you immediately have to come off of him because you have to assume that that's not a viable route anymore. And you could throw that curl to Payne Durham, but you're going to have to get it through 55 Caden Ellis, who's kind of like mush rushing. This guy right here, he's not like getting upfield blitzing. He's not engaged with a lineman. He's kind of waiting. He wants you to throw that curl over the middle so he can bat it or pick it. It's a good job by Baker not taking the bait. He rolls out of the pocket. Another offensive lineman is getting blown up. This time it's Dan Feeney and Graham Barton. Again, every fucking rep, somebody on the interior offensive line is completely failing. So Baker just has to get rid of the ball. And this is as much a throwaway as it is a check down. I think it's actually kind of wise of Baker to throw it behind the running back, throwing it away rather than like trying to lead him and make it catchable, because it is 1st down and you don't want to mess with a linebacker throwing back across your body late in the down. Like, that's just not smart, right? If he tries to lead Bucky Irving gets depleted, or even worse, a play gets made on the ball. There's no reason to do any of that shit. Just throw the ball away. Live to fight another day. I think that's a smart play by Baker. And then here's a little screen routine, nothing to talk about. And here on 3rd and long, as the Bucs often are in, lovely throw. Little speed out. Baker utilizes the height advantage. Perfectly thrown ball. Love it. Routine throw. Nice job by Igbuka to break a tackle. Play action, top of the drop. What are we doing? Throwing a fucking dime. Jalen McMillan with a really nice catch. So, again, line of scrimmage is what? The 48? Baker gets to the top of his drop and he's kept clean from the 48 to the 34. 16-yard strike. Well done. See the tight copy? He's actually kept clean for once. Ball comes out beautifully. Everything's lovely. Just keep Baker clean. Here, this ball's frustrating, right? It's a little stop route. And the ball is technically supposed to be high when you throw this to Mike Evans. Like, that's how the Buccaneers do it Frankly, I think that's dumb. I think it's really poor coaching. I think it's really poor design. I think that they should stop calling this to be a high pass and just protect Mike Evans' body. But the theory is you're going to have a corner charging in on the ball because Mike Evans is not that good at stopping. Like, he's not some quick agility deceleration guy. So they want the ball high because he can protect the ball that way, right? You can't get it picked if Mike Evans has two hands on it above the rim. I don't like that. Frankly, I think this ball should be low. And I'd like to see Baker Mayfield adjust and just put it on his numbers or maybe on his face mask rather than up in the air like that. Really, Baker misses this ball by about a foot, but a foot is too many feet. As you can see, Evans is fully extended and off the ground. I don't want that, right? I want that ball towards the outside ear so he can turn towards the sideline and upfield. I want it at about ear height for Evans in particular. If this is a smaller receiver, I'd want it in the belly. Bad ball. Sure, got two hands on it. Bad ball. This is a tough play. Here's a drop back, top of the drop. Where's he supposed to go? Everybody's squatted on. There's absolutely nothing. It's a three-man route because they can't protect. And there's really nothing open at all. So as Baker moves through, this corner at the top of the screen gets a little greedy and he drifts off of Chris Godwin. The problem is Chris Godwin's running a little short out. You can't really look at a short out late in the down because they ran out of room. There's nowhere for Godwin to go. And frankly, if Baker tries to throw this ball, that's a pretty far throw from the far hash. It's a lot of time for that corner to jump that route and take the ball back the other way. So I know it looks open, but it's not that open. Now, at this point, when the corner bails even further, now it's open. But at this point, the pressure is closing in, just because it's been so long, right? It's not the offensive line failing so much as like time passing. And at this point, Chris Godwin would have been open, but then he runs directly into the fucking coverage. If Godwin had stayed still, he's probably still open. Baker probably tries to get him the ball, but he moves downfield, so it's just a miscommunication on the scramble drill. Now Baker scrambles out, and nobody's moving away. Like, nobody's making anything happen. So at this point, there's nothing he can do. It's a no-fault sack. It's a plus pocket movement. It's really frustrating. Like, yeah, there's nowhere for him to escape. There's nowhere for him to, bail out of the pocket and extend. There's only three dudes in routes. Two of them are extremely covered. One of them is iffy covered and possibly baiting you into an interception. I just don't know what Baker's supposed to do here. Next drive, first down. Not much open. And Baker gets hit while he throws. So, top of his drop. I guess ideally you could just check it down to Rachaad White right now because it's first down, so fuck it. But he really wants that deep shot to Jalen McMillan, and Jalen McMillan's just not separating. It's one-on-one, so he should be, but he's not. And you have another receiver falling at the top of the screen. Right? Emeka Egbuka at the top of the screen just fucking falls on his ass. For no reason. That sucks. Who knows what he was supposed to run? He's on his ass. Godwin coming over the middle is covered. Just help over the top on Evans. Or no, that's Culp. Damn. Culp can move now. Yeah, so Baker really, right here, he's seeing like, oh, he's even. Maybe he's leaving. But then he sees like McMillan's just not getting open. Pulls it down and runs. That's the right thing to do. And he tries to throw a strike as hard as he can to Godwin, who's charging back towards the ball, but he gets hit while he's throwing. Never mind, it just gets batted. It's a bad ball because it was batted. It's 2+ pocket movements because he extended the play well. And that's just a fucking airmail. And that is a thing that happened in this game. Yeah, it's just a bad miss. You can see he doesn't get his shoulder down enough. He gets kind of over his, kind of rotates his torso horizontally instead of twisting it. Ball just gets high on him. Bad ball. Next rep, beauty. I won't call it elite because if it had a little bit more juice on it, Evans might have been more inclined to run. But this ball was really, really well placed. It was a busted coverage. Cornerback fell down. But big gain. Really nice throw. Like, Evans slid because he was trying to preserve time on the clock, not because he, like, had to make the catch. Right? He could have jogged into that catch and probably gone upfield a little bit. That's not a placement problem. That's just Evans having a different idea of how he wanted to manage the end of game or end of half scenario. That's a really nice ball. Great throw. Here's another one. I just don't know what Baker's supposed to do. Right? It's first down. You need chunk plays because otherwise you're kicking a field goal anyway, so you might as well just eat it if you're not going to make a chunk play. What's he going to do? He can't throw the ball away. He's in the pocket. There's nowhere to throw the ball away. His right tackle's getting beaten too quickly. Right? Jalen Walker turns the edge way too quickly. He basically doesn't get touched. So Baker can't throw the ball away because he's not going to get it back to the line of scrimmage and because he is not out of the pocket. There's nowhere to go with the ball. The pressure is too quick, and there's nowhere to step up because when he steps up, his entire interior offensive line is getting destroyed. Look at this. Jalen Walker doesn't get touched. Luke Gadecki literally does not get hands on the defensive end until he's 1.5 feet away from the quarterback. When Baker Mayfield steps up, you've got your backup left guard trying to block two dudes because Tristan Wirfs gets beat inside. And Michael Jordan is literally trying to do like the Spider-Man stopping a train scene from the original Spider-Mans. It's not going to work. It's a no-fault sack, even though it's really detrimental to take a sack that puts you on the brink of field goal range. And again, here, this is a throwaway, but like it's a valid throwaway. Where's he supposed to go with the ball? You gotta understand that like there's a few seconds left on the clock. It is ticking away. You do not have time to be like fucking around trying to extend the play. If nobody's open right here, you gotta just dirt that fucking ball. And since there's a linebacker right on the running back, you can't swing it out and see what he can gain. You gotta just dirt it, preserve the clock. So that was a smart move, and they get a field goal out of it. Routine throw. You notice how rarely I'm saying routine throw in this? Like, they just do not have a functioning pass offense right now. It's Baker Mayfield make a really nice, big, sexy, deep throw, or we're fucked. Here, Baker's actually kept clean, and he delivers an absolute fucking dime to Igbuka. Again, line of scrimmage is the 22-yard line. Baker Mayfield throws a strike to the 44. It's a 20-yard throw. That's sick. It's perfectly placed. Let's see the tight copy so you can see that excellent placement. So you can see the offensive line actually holding up, mostly because everybody's double teaming. Bang. Perfect. Great throw. Now, this play is actually a little more nuanced than it looks. It looks really simple. It looks like Baker Mayfield just floats up a streak and it's underthrown, but Mike Evans makes a sick catch. In reality, it's a little more complicated. When Baker's starting his throwing motion right here, he sees, oh, Mike Evans is absolutely cooked over the top. Whoever 37 is, I think it's Kobe Bryant, rookie, not very good. He is giving Mike Evans a ton of cushion. So Evans is not going to win deep. Baker lets go of the ball. If they're even, they're leaving. They're not even. Evans is behind. Therefore, assume Evans is not getting open. But he's Mike Evans, and he's a big boy. And you want those yards. So you underthrow it on purpose. Make it a jump ball. Because Evans will win that jump ball. Especially with all this time, he can sell downfield and then work back towards the ball. It'll make it real nice and easy for his big frame. The cornerback's not confused, though. Right? He starts playing this like a jump ball really early. Like right here, this is where you would expect him to like really try to go over the top, but he sees that Evans is throttling down, so he throttles down too. And the reason that it looks on the broadcast angle, it's going to look like Evans is about to break deep right here, but it's because they're already tracking the ball and they're playing where the ball is, not who can win the race to the end zone. Mike Evans plays it well. Could have played a little better, could have made it a little easier on himself, but that's a good ball. It's not a great ball. Certainly not a great ball. It takes a special receiver to make that catch, but it's 40 yards downfield, and we reward quarterbacks who who give their playmakers chances to make plays. Line of scrimmage is the 45. Baker puts it at the 15. It is 30 yards downfield. It is catchable. It leverages the fact that you've got a jump ball artist against an undrafted rookie who's much smaller. Good play. Not great. Not perfect by any means, but a good play. Solid throw. Routine throw. Nice. This is another one where, like, I don't know what I want Baker to do. Right? You've got pressure coming from the interior left, so you can't throw the ball back to the left to Bucky Irving. There's no throwing lane. Even if you could contort your body to do so, you're going to have to throw through 2 defensive linemen, and by the time the ball actually gets there with the arc that you're going to have to place on it, Bucky Irving's going to get crushed by one of those squatting defensive backs. Also, you slipped. And that's not really your fault. There's a free rusher. Right? Watch the offensive line. Graham Barton gets beat right off the snap yet again. Watch the center. Walked right around. So now you have to roll to the right. You can't step up. You can't stay seated. You have to roll to the top of the screen. Where Mike Evans is triple covered, and I don't know who that is. I'm going to guess it's McMillan, is also doubled. You have nothing. So what Baker should have done is he should have continued to run outside. And he's going to get chased down by that linebacker, but he's just got to buy himself a little bit more time. Nothing will probably come open, but at least you get a throwaway or maybe even a small run. Instead, he tries to cut it back because he thinks if he can step up in the pocket that he can hit that middle of field crosser. Right? He wants to hit Godwin. Right by the C in Buccaneers. He's one-on-one with 31. And Baker's thinking, if I can just step up, I can get the proper throwing angle, and I can beat that defensive back. If Baker slips, Baker gets pinched basically by 2 rushers at once. There's nothing he can do. It's a plus pocket movement because he avoided the first sack, as you'll see here, but it's a no-fault sack. What's he supposed to do? The center gets bitched. The left guard gets bitched. What's the solution? There is no solution. You can't fix that. Next play, Baker wants the back shoulder on the wheel route, but he gets hit as he throws. Again, not much he can do about that. Right? You got to wait for the route to develop. He gets what he wants. He's trying to throw a back shoulder to Bucky Irving. That would be a big play. And as he's throwing, James Pierce grabs his arm. Right? Because Luka Decky gets walked around once again. Right tackle just getting bitched. Hand on hand. Baker's lucky he didn't break a finger. Might have. And yeah, ball falls short because he gets hit. If he doesn't get hit, that ball's probably a nice back shoulder. It's probably catchable. Might have a touchdown. But as you'll see here, Luka Decky didn't do his job. I mean, what a rush by James Pierce. Speed, swats the hands down immediately. Nice little rip move, and he's through. Great rep by James Pierce. Luka Decky looks like he's stuck in the mud. He's just not ready for that kind of speed. Turns into a bad ball, but it's not Baker's fault. It's just bad protection. This one is not good. Let's look to the top of the screen, shall we? Because we've got Rachaad White, and I believe that's Culp, and there's 2 receivers over there with just 1 defender. So on one hand, the defender is covering both. And on the other hand, it is 3rd down. So you don't have the luxury of the check down. You can't throw to Rachaad White. He's not an option. And the corner kind of knows that. So he starts drifting back. Now, when Baker starts to crow hop because he's going to rip this throw, that's when it looks like Devin Culp's open. But within the actual progression of the play, if you're going to throw to Devin Culp, it's got to be right here. And he's not open. If you throw this ball to Devin Culp at the top of the screen, it's probably picked off. He can't do it. So Baker doesn't do it. Smart. And you can't throw to Rachaad White because you can't pray that he's going to get 12 yards after the catch. That's just not reasonable on 3rd down. You got to rip it to the end zone. And Baker Mayfield finds a small window to do so. And if this is a fucking excellent, perfect throw, it's a touchdown. But Baker Mayfield's just like a little too high. I hope I have the tight copy. I do. A little too high. It's a bad ball. Now we get an illegal contact because there was an egregious holding. All right, the defensive back wraps up Mike Evans at the 4-yard line and just hugs him into the end zone. So Evans never gets into his route. That's the definition of illegal contact. So is it a bad ball? Yeah, but we don't grade it because it's a penalty. And then Baker Mayfield hits a really nice little seam shot. Solid throw. Pretty open. Quick release. Quick identification. Great play design. I love it. Good ball. If he doesn't zip that in there real tight, Culp's going to get depleted. And if you get depleted, you might not catch it. So I give Baker Mayfield a good on this throw, a solid on this throw, because he had to put really good velocity on it or else it wasn't going to be able to be completed. Here's another one. Solid. Look at that perfect back shoulder throw. Line of scrimmage at 10. Baker Mayfield puts it on Mike Evans' ear at the 27. 17-yard play. Lovely. Look at this placement. Couldn't have been any better. Could not have been any better. That's perfect back shoulder. Excellent. Mike Evans is fired up. You give Mayfield just a little bit of time and like a little bit of function, and he makes good things happen. Now here, what's he supposed to do? Play action. Now his head is up. There's the top of his drop, and he's already got 3 rushers free in his face. There's nothing he can do. Yes, he could hit Payne Durham. He can't hit Payne Durham. There's 3 dudes in his face. Yes, he pulled his eyes down a tiny bit early, but there's 3 fucking rushers. There's not really anything he can do. Now, the one thing I will say, drop back, right here where he starts to like stutter with his feet, I wish he'd just fucking throw the ball away. I wish he'd just fucking look for Payne Durham and see if he can get some yak. I wish he wouldn't try to fight for yards. Tight copy will be much more indicative, right? So like, here's the top of his drop. Here's where the play really starts. He's already fucked. He hasn't had time to look down the field yet. He literally hasn't looked at his receivers. So for all he knows, Payne Durham is blanket covered, right? Because Gadecki loses, Feeney loses, Barton is losing. There's 4 defensive linemen within 2 yards of Baker, and no offensive linemen in their way. They're fucked. It's terrible. There's just nothing he can do. It's a no-fault sack. It's the 3rd of the day. This one, after this play, Baker was screaming. I love Tez Johnson. He's wildly talented. He fucking misplayed this so badly. You can see right here when he turns up, he's like, shit, I went to the wrong way. He's supposed to curl it out into like a wide speed hook to the left, to the sideline. And he just turned the wrong way. And you could tell as soon as he turns, he's like, fuck, I did the wrong thing. He knows it's his fault. It's unfortunate. But like, this is a perfectly placed throw. It's just rookie receiver ran the wrong fucking route again. Which leads me to believe, like, if it keeps happening in week 15, this is on the coaching staff. They fucked up. Like, they're not teaching their young receivers well enough. And then, but, again, Baker Mayfield transcends. He makes up for shit. Top of the drop, a free rusher in his face. Dan Feeney running backwards. Dan Feeney's face is facing the quarterback. That should never happen, but it does. Baker Mayfield extends the play because he's thrown off schedule. He can't hit Payne Durham in the structure of the play. But no matter. He finds Mike Evans. 2+ pocket movements and a solid throw. That is a really good play. This should be a sack. Most quarterbacks, this is a sack, or at least a throwaway. Defensive tackle right in your face, nothing you can do. You escape his tackle, you jump over him like Mario, and then while you're running, you pump fake, holding defenders, keeping Caden Ellis 55 on his feet, right? You pump fake so he stops and breaks down. That gives you a little half step, and then you just put that ball inches. just over Caden Ellis' outstretched hand, and you put that ball right on a fucking dime. It's a solid throw. But the plus pocket movements to get there were probably 3 of them. It was excellent. And this ball's unfortunate because, again, it is perfectly placed. It is a good, solid throw. It's a touchdown pass. But Evans gets help. Like, yeah, one more stride, and that's a pretty easy fucking catch. But very obvious holding, and yeah, they throw the penalty, but it doesn't go on Baker's stat sheet. No matter. Solid throw. Dime. And again, he had to turn. He had to, like, make a spinning catch. Yeah, dude. How else is Baker going to protect him from that safety? Perfect throw. Oh, fuck, it's a corner. Perfect throw. Great catch. That's what happens when you have professional wide receivers for the first time all season. Great stuff. And again, another one. This one I actually don't like the placement as much. You could have let him upfield a little bit, and it would have been an easier catch. This is a routine throw. The other one was solid. See the tight copy so you can actually like hone in on it. Yeah, if you just lead him to the back of that, the back corner, like where the A is, it's a much easier catch. Godwin has to make a special catch, but Godwin is a special player who makes special catches, so fine. Routine throw. The screen is routine as well. They should be running more screens with their terrible offensive line. Another one. Baker just making a free rusher miss, juking out a cornerback, stepping up and through, throwing a nice ball. Good throw, plus pocket movement. Notice, like, almost every fucking pass, I'm saying good throw. Good throw doesn't mean, like, he did the thing. It means that is an above-average, impressive throw. He's got a bunch of them in this game. I counted 10. Here's a routine throwaway, like, that's fine. Yeah, you got a free rusher a few feet from your face on a screen. It's not going to work. You're good. Like, what's a guy to do? Just get rid of it. This is the play that everybody's going to talk about. It's just a bad pick. You can see Baker Mayfield's head. He's reading one thing, and it ends up being another. He thinks that he's got match coverage, right? It's cover 4, so he's thinking like, oh, the linebacker will run with Godwin, and I'll diagram it in a moment. The nickel defender, not a linebacker. My apologies. He breaks off into the flat. Easy pick. It's actually a pretty good catch, too. I didn't realize. Nice catch. But, yeah, that's bad. We'll see it from the tight copy a little bit as well. It doesn't get any more picked than that. That's a pickable ball. Absolutely no excuse. How'd it happen? Let's diagram it. It's not really excusable, but it makes more sense. So we got middle of field open. Frankly, it looks like cover 4. And it will be. So Baker should know right off the snap what he's getting. And it's just base cover 4. Got the clover in the middle. Very simple. The way this play is supposed to work... Oh, I don't like that color. Is Godwin is supposed to just run like kind of a little wrap post. And the idea is that it takes away this defender and this defender while they're passing each other off somewhere around the 35-yard line. This works if there's match principles, right? If there's match principles, this defender is supposed to play this like man until he passes him off. And then Evans is just going to run a little hook to the top of the screen. Here's the issue. They don't have match principles. Because they're not matching, right? Because they're not playing man match, the void was actually to Godwin. That's just a bad read from Mayfield. It's an understandable read completely. But it's a bad read. And it happens. And it's a pick. Boom. It's unfortunate. But again, not the end of the world. Picks happen. Miscommunications happen. Whatever. Bad ball. Pickable ball. Everybody's got them. Still, the Bucs were up 14 at that point. Don't worry, the Falcons did easily drive the field to come within a touchdown. And so now the Bucs have the ball with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left, and they just need 2 or 3 first downs to win this game. They come out running the ball. They get nothing. So on 3rd down, Baker's got to make a pretty nice throw, and this is a really impressive flat. You knew exactly what they were going to do. This is what they always do. Just a flat from slot bunch. Perfect ball. It's a solid throw. Right? That's not easy. Just throws a strike, perfectly placed. Nothing you can do about it as a defender. Conversion. Run the ball, lose 5. All right, so now it's 2nd and 15. Can't really run the ball anymore. And look at what the Falcons are doing. They have 10 men in the box. You just can't run the ball into this. And frankly, this is a little bit of an indictment on the Buccaneers' offensive play caller as well. First down, 11 men in the box. That safety is 9 yards downfield. That safety's standing where linebackers typically stand. Those linebackers are standing where edge rushers typically stand. You can't run into this. You just can't. You have to audible out. You have to fucking do something different because Michael Jordan's going to get blown up. Right? Your offensive line is shit. Your center doesn't block anybody because he's trying to get to the second level. Your left guard doesn't block anybody because he misses. And now your running back is being swallowed the second he gets the handoff because you ran into an 11-man box. So now you're a 10-man box. And Baker's got it. And this and the interception are the only plays that anybody's going to seem to remember. Baker's got it. Egbuka on the sail. The over. Whichever you want to call it. Ball's behind. If the ball's in front, it's probably an easy catch. It's probably a first down. Might be game. Might be. Not necessarily, but probably. So now it's 3rd down, and what is Baker to do? He's not even out of his drop back, and he's getting sacked. Top of his drop. Free rusher in his face. What is he to do? He literally hasn't had time to look at who his receivers are yet. And frankly, everybody's covered except for Payne Durham. Your 3rd string tight end. This is where Baker should be surveying the field to see who his receivers are, and he's already being tackled. Frankly, it's impressive that he got back to the line of scrimmage. It's a neutral run. It's a plus pocket movement. But this is, yeah. This is bad. Got the lightning blitz. Rachaad White doesn't pick up the right guy, right? The problem with having such bad interior offensive linemen is that rather than Graham Barton block the defensive tackle one-on-one and Dan Feeney block the blitzing linebacker one-on-one, because they know that they're so shit, they're double teaming the defensive tackle, leaving Rachaad White to the linebacker, and now you get a free rusher from the lightning blitzer. And that's just a matter of we don't trust our first-round pick center or our right guard enough to make a simple block. And so they're fucked. There's nothing they can do. On the day, I don't know what more you want from the guy. Baker Mayfield had 5 great throws, 10 solid throws. That's 15 positive throws. 2 of 4 on deep attempts, and one of them was that hold on Mike Evans, where it's like, really? 11 bad throws, and that's being as harsh as possible, right? That's 2 throws that were made while he's being hit. It's 2 throws that were batted at the line. It's a throw or 2 on miscommunications that just really aren't necessarily Mayfield's fault, but I don't know who else to blame. Like, it could be the running back, or not the running back, it could be the wide receiver, it could be Mayfield. I don't know. I'm blaming Mayfield because I don't want to be too high on him. 1 sack that was his fault, 3 that certainly were not, 2 throwaways, 1 neutral run there at the end, 1 bad run that he shouldn't have tried, and 20 plus pocket movements. 20 times that this injured quarterback navigated the pocket or extended the play in a positive manner. 65.7% accuracy, which isn't great. It's acceptable, especially with such a low percentage of routine plays, right? The cheap play percentage was only 22%, which means only 22% of his snaps were like easy shit, screens, short passes, etc. Everything was downfield, everything was difficult, the protection was awful, really just not a well-called game by the coordinator, and really a bad game from the offensive line. 34.9% of his dropbacks resulted in a positive play. That's extremely high, but 32.6% of his dropbacks were a negative play, which is also very high. Overall, I give it a B. If he hadn't thrown the interception, I give it an A-, but we don't live in that world. We live in the one where he did throw the interception, and it was a bad interception, and it's not excusable. B game. Frankly, I think that all the talk that Baker Mayfield played awful is ridiculous. I think a lot of people are prisoners of the moment. They have this attention span of cows. They remember the 2 biggest plays of the game. They don't remember like the fact that the Buccaneers even had a chance because Baker Mayfield was stellar throughout most of the game. Led them on excellent touchdown drives, completing really difficult throws. So yeah, for those of you who made it through the hour of film review, what do you think? Where was I wrong? Where was I right? Because this ain't it. All right, until next time, I'm going to be grinding film. Hasta.